My beloved child, do you hear me calling in the gentle whisper of the morning breeze, in the dew still clinging to the petals of a small flower at daybreak, in the tender sunlight streaming through your window? That is me, present beside you. I have written countless letters like this quietly, patiently, tenderly sent to the children I love. And today, I write to you a soul that has endured much pain, yet continues to sow love. A child who, though weary, still strives to keep a heart pure, kind, and faithful. I know you. I have always known. I often wonder whether the letters I write to you ever reach your hands, or if they merely drift silently through the wind, waiting for a day when your heart is calm enough to receive them. But today, I am overjoyed because you are listening. That means your heart is opening, and your soul is ready to receive something greater, deeper and perhaps more painful. But it is through that very pain that true healing begins. Today's letter is not like the others. It is not merely a word of comfort, encouragement, or instruction. It is a whisper from my soul to yours, a gentle but unwavering message about something you've tried to forget, tried to overcome, or perhaps never fully understood. It concerns not someone who is physically present, but someone who lingers in memory, someone who once walked through your life and left deep footprints behind. I do not come to reopen your wounds. I come to wipe your tears. You see, some of the deepest pain doesn't come from grand betrayals, but from the long silence between two hearts that were once close. There were moments when you sat in stillness, asking why sincerity wasn't enough to make them stay. You blamed yourself. You questioned your worth or worse. You tried to suppress what you truly felt. But I witnessed it all. I know you once loved someone, not just with your heart, but with your sacrifices. You placed your trust, painted dreams of a future. And then, when it all vanished, you were left without understanding why. But let me say this, it was never because your love wasn't big enough. It was never because your kindness was a mistake. It's simply that they were never meant to stay. Some people pass through your life like a summer rain, sudden, beautiful, and fleeting. But that rain nourished your soul so that seeds of wisdom could take root. That was not a loss. It was the beginning of a greater journey. My child, you are a special soul, not because you've never made mistakes, but because after every fall, you still choose to rise with a tender heart. You do not let wounds turn you bitter, and I treasure that more than anything, but I also know that very gentleness has cost you much. You can forgive. You can be compassionate, but that doesn't mean you don't feel pain. Don't try to hide your heart's bruises from me. I've always been there on the nights you stayed awake, in the moments you cried silently in an empty room, in the times you wrote and erased messages you never sent. I see you. And my child, I have never turned away. I know you still wonder, will I ever be able to truly love someone again? You're afraid, aren't you? Afraid to give and receive nothing in return. But my dear one, that doesn't mean your heart is withered. It is merely resting. It is healing so that when the time comes, it will beat strongly again. Not for another person's validation, but because you know you are worthy of a love that is whole. Today's letter is my gift to you, not to make you remember, but to help you release. Between you and that person, there is still something incomplete. Not because you didn't do enough, but because life itself is an imperfect journey. Every person who enters your life plays a role. Some stay. Some are simply here to teach you something, and then they go. But my child, some relationships must end in silence, and yet they can still be healed through understanding. I want you to know, forgiveness does not mean accepting everything they did. Forgiveness means you no longer let it bind you. When you let go of that burden, you will walk lighter. And if today, that person from the past returns not in words, but in your thoughts, your dreams, or a sudden wave of emociondo, not fear, that is not a sign to go back. It is a gentle reminder that something within you is ready to be completed. Maybe it's forgiveness. Maybe it's gratitude. Or maybe it's simply learning to close the chapter with love, not pain. My beloved, this letter is not just my message to you. It is a mirror reflecting your soul. The more you listen, the more clearly you will see yourself. And I want you to know, no matter where you are on this journey, you are not alone. I am still here, gentle, patient, never judging. You do not need to be perfect to be worthy of my love. You have always been worthy, from the moment you were formed in your smallest shape. And today, as you sit and listen, it proves one thing: you are still a live-not merely existing, but opening your heart to truth, to love, to healing. You are not alone. You have never been abandoned. You are simply being led to a better place, a place where your heart will find rest, where you will love again fully, this time with understanding, with strength, and with a soul that has been healed. I love you, and I am here, my child. In all your life, perhaps nothing has confused and hurt you more than being wounded by those you once loved and trusted. I know you've sat in the dark, holding your chest and asking, why must I endure this? Did I do something wrong? Come closer to me, so I can whisper a gentle truth into your heart. Not everything you've gone through is a punishment. Some wounds I allow not to destroy you, but to prepare you for something greater. I am a loving Father. And as Scripture says in Hebrews 12:6, the Lord disciplines those he loves, and he chastens everyone he accepts as his child. You see, love is not always soft. Sometimes, I must let you walk through fire not to burn you, but to purify you, like gold refined by flame. And my child, you are more precious than gold. Your soul is a masterpiece I am shaping every day. But I also understand that when you're in the midst of pain, it's hard to see the purpose. All you feel is the loss, the rejection, the sleepless nights. There were times you thought, maybe if I weren't so kind, I wouldn't have been hurt. But my child, kindness is never wrong. Do not let the wounds of others make you question the beauty of who you are. I formed you with a tender heart, and I have never once regretted it. When I see you in pain, I do not stand at a distance. I sit beside you in that silent room, where you have no more tears left to cry. I have collected every tear of yours. As the psalmist once wrote, you have kept count of my wanderings, put my tears in your bottle. Psalm 56:8. You have never suffered alone, I have wept with you. But I also know what is being formed in your spirit as you pass through this fire. In Buddha's teachings, it is said, suffering itself is the seed of enlightenment. A wound, when seen through the eyes of compassion and wisdom, becomes a gateway to profound understanding. I am not sending you down this path in vain. Each time you stumble, it is a lesson in rising again stronger. Steadia. Each time you are hurt, your heart learns to empathize more deeply with other souls. Look back on your journey. Who were you before? And who are you becoming now? It is precisely through those moments of pain that you have come to understand what it means to forgive unconditionally, to love without expecting anything in return. The words you once read in books, you are now living them. Word by word, line by line, You no longer merely know about compassion. You are becoming compassionate. You no longer study endurance. You now carry within you a depth of patience no teaching can fully explain. There is a story I want to remind you of, the story of Job, the most upright man in the land, whom I allowed to go through loss, illness, and misunderstanding from his closest friends. Even without understanding all the reasons, Job remained faithful. And in the end, do you know what happened? I restored to him double what he had lost. But the greatest reward was not the wealth, it was the growth in his spirit, a faith refined by fire. My child, Job represents many of my beloved children, including you. It is not because you have done wrong that you suffer. Sometimes, it is because you are so close to what I am about to give you that the enemy rises up to wound you. But remember this, all things work together for good for those who love God. Romans 8:28. Even the pain you feel today, I am using to forge something radiant in your tomorrow. Perhaps you wonder, if God loves me, why didn't he stop this? But let me ask you, if a potter loves his creation, does he not mold and shape it with even greater care? That shaping process hurts, but it ensures you will not break in the hands of another. I am using these trials to make you resilient, enduring, and brilliant with my glory. My dear one, do not be ashamed of the scars on your soul. They are the evidence that you have walked, have loved, and have dared to live with the heart I gave you. I see every effort you've made, every word you held back to protect others from pain. I see the times you forced yourself to keep going, even with a shattered heart. None of this escapes me. These are precious gems in my sight. You are healing, even if you don't yet realize it. You may not see the changes day by day, but I do. Every morning you choose to rise and keep moving forward. You are one step closer to restoration. Every time you choose to love, even when you have every reason to close your heart, I see your light shining in this darkness. You are growing not just in years, but in spirit, and that pleases me more than anything else. Let me say this once more. My beloved, your wounds are not my rejection, but my invitation to draw deeper into my heart. The more broken you feel, the more you need me, and I will not let you walk alone. I am with you in every step, every breath, every whispered prayer. I am here, my child, and I am not leaving. I know there are days you quietly turn your face away, not out of pride, but because you fear others might see the weariness in your eyes. You've thought that if you were kinder, worked harder, gave more, perhaps then they would love you, appreciate the heart you've poured out. But instead, you were met with silence, coldness, abandonment, and I see how that pain lives in you, a silent ache without words. You ask, am I really worth anything, my beloved? Let me answer that for you clearly, without hesitation. You are precious in my eyes. From the moment I created you, no lack of recognition, no rejection can diminish that worth. Your value does not come from being seen or unseen by others. It does not rise or fall with praise or indifference. It was sealed by me from the beginning before your first cry. In Isaiah 43:4, I declared, you are precious and honored in my sight, and I love you. You do not need to do more to be worthy. You do not need to perform, explain, or prove. I love you not because you are useful, but because you are mine. Even if the world forgets your name, I have engraved it on the palm of my hand. Isaiah 49:16. Every part of you, from your strengths to your weaknesses, woven into my divine plan. And no one has the authority to define your worth but your Creator. You were once that child who tried so hard to please everyone. Weren't you? You chose to sacrifice your needs to keep peace, to stay silent to protect others, to love without expecting anything in return. But in the end, you were the one left behind. I saw you lay out your heart like a feast, inviting others in, only for many to take and leave, leaving you with an empty table and an even emptier soul. You may have thought, it's because I'm not enough. But the truth is, it's not because you weren't enough. It's because they weren't mature enough to recognize the treasure you carry. And that does not change how I see you. I want you to understand, not everyone you love will be capable of loving you rightly in return. Some are limited by their wounds, by selfishness, or by spiritual blindness. They do not see your light not because it's dim, but because their eyes are veiled. Do not let their inability to see become the measure by which you judge yourself. Remember, a diamond in the hands of one who does not know its value is still a diamond even if buried in dust. And a diamond it remains. In life, you will encounter many who only see the surface. They will not see the heart within you. But this does not surprise me. I saw it from the beginning. When I chose David, people looked at his brothers, the tall, strong ones. But I said to the prophet Samuel, man looks at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. 1 Samuel 16-7. In the same way, I see the truest part of you, the part no one else can touch. I know your motives. I know the things you do in secret. I know the times you forgave when no one noticed. I see the Korean. You are beautiful to me, my child. In Buddhist teachings, there is the concept of self-nature, the idea that every person's true essence is already pure and complete. One need not seek value from the outside, because the seed of Buddha already exists within every being. In the same way, within your soul I have planted my own image. You bear the imprint of the Creator. No one can add or take away from that. Others may not honor you, but they cannot erase the divine fingerprint on your life, and no one else hold the authority to affirm it. My beloved, do not grow weary from loving without being loved in return. Do not close your heart because a few have walked away. They are not the whole world. Their indifference does not lessen your significance in this universe. Hold your head high, not out of pride, but because you carry a worth sealed by the Eternal One. I am the one who knows every hair on your head, and I am never careless with anything that concerns you. Anchor your worth in me, and I will lift you up in due time. You do not need to fight for a place in the eyes of the world. Your place is already established in my heart, and when you are firm in that, you will no longer strive to be loved. You will begin to love from a place of fullness, not to fill a void, but to share abundance. Then, your light will draw the right ones, those I have prepared to cherish, uplift, and walk beside you. And they will come when you stop seeing yourself through the old lens. There are burdens in your soul that do not come from the present, but from unresolved wounds of the past. I know you've been hurt not once, but so many times that silence became your shelter. Sometimes the pain is no longer fresh, yet it lingers like a burn that never fully healed. Deep down, you hold on to those memories as a reminder not to forget, not to soften. But my child, it is this very holding on that is keeping you from true peace. Forgiveness does not mean diminishing what happened. It means choosing to no longer let it rule your emotions or dictate your steps. I understand why you hesitate. Forgiveness often feels like letting go before justice has been served. You worry that if you forgive too soon, the other person may never realize their fault, that your silence is the only way to preserve your dignity. But, my dear one, your dignity does not lie in the condemnation of others. It lies in the freedom you can step into when your heart is no longer imprisoned. As the Word of God teaches in Ephesians 4:32, Be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other, just as in Christ God forgave you. You are not called to carry the weight of others' sins. You are invited to release them for your own life and peace. I see in you a heart longing for peace, yet still wrestling with the question, if I forgive, who will make things right for me? That is a valid question, and I do not dismiss it. But I want to remind you, true righteousness does not come from holding on to anger, but from trusting that I will deal with wrongs in my just and perfect way. Forgiveness is not absolution, it is entrusting the judgment into my hands, the one who sees even what you cannot say. When you choose to forgive, you do not lose justice. You place it in the hands of the one who never errs. There is a wonder that begins to unfold when you start to forgive. Your heart grows lighter not because the other person has changed, but because you are being healed. Like a once blocked stream that starts to flow again, the movement is not outward, but within. You'll begin to sleep more deeply, laugh more sincerely, and love again, with a heart no longer closed off by old wounds. Letting go doesn't make you weak, it makes you strong in a quiet, enduring way. That is the power of forgiveness. It may not change the other, but it will most certainly change you. I remember the words of my son who, though nailed between those who mocked him, still cried out, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." Luke 23:34. That was not just a statement, it was a release. For if my son had held on to bitterness, redemption would not have come to humanity. And if you, a child of the light, continue to bind yourself with the chains of the past, how can you live the grace-filled life I have destined for you? I know letting go doesn't happen overnight. You may need time to breathe, to weep, to discern. But every day you choose to take even a small step toward forgiveness is a day you loosen the chains that hold you. Forgiveness is a journey, not a moment, and I will walk it with you, reminding you that you are moving toward a new land, a place where resentment no longer lives. Only love and freedom remain. If you are still uncertain, think of yourself. How many times have you fallen? And I did not reject you. I have seen your weakness, your repeated stumblings, your frustrations, and I have loved you still. So why do you hold on to what I have never held against you? When you forgive, you are not doing what is easy. You are reflecting my very nature, and that is what makes you more like me than ever before. I know there are nights when you lie still in the dark, not because you are tired, but because your mind drifts back to someone who once felt inseparable from your life. It might have been someone you loved, a close friend, a companion, or someone you thought would never leave. And then they left quietly or loudly, by choice or by force. From that moment on, you began to wonder, was it my fault? Did I do something wrong, my dear one? Let me whisper this into your heart. Departure is not always a sign of failure many times. It is the way I redirect your life toward a new light. Some people are meant to walk with you only for a season. Their absence doesn't mean you weren't enough. It means their part in your story has been completed. If you hold on to them too long, you may miss what I am preparing ahead. As the Buddha's teaching echoes, all conditioned things are impermanent, they come and go, no one stays forever. This is not a call to apathy, it is a reminder that every relationship serves a purpose. And when that purpose is fulfilled, the departure is necessary for you to move forward. It is not that I cut them off, it is that I am opening a new path for your soul. Do you remember the story of Ruth, a Moabite woman who lost her husband? Her family, her future seemingly closed off. But from that place of loss, she chose to walk with Naomi. And I gave her a beginning no one expected. Out of broken places, I placed her in the lineage of the Messiah. Had Ruth clung to her past, she would never have seen what I had prepared ahead. And you, to a closed door is not me turning my back. It is the moment I lead you to places you could not reach if you kept holding on to the old. I see how sincerely you love, how deeply you treasure those I place in your life. I also see the ache when they walk away, taking pieces of your heart with them. But don't let their absence make you forget the fullness I am pouring in. You may not see it yet, but every vacancy left behind is a space I myself will fill with something better. Sometimes, only when the old withdraws can the new come in those truly meant for the path I'm drawing for you. You once thought that if the relationship ended, it meant you had failed. But child, not every ending is a mistake. Some endings are necessary to begin a new season. I don't want you to keep building on fractured stones. I am rebuilding not on pain, but on healing. And to do that, I need you to let go no because I've taken, but because I have something better to give. In your heart are still questions without answers. Why did they leave? Was I not enough? If I had done something different, would it have changed? My child, someone's withdrawal does not diminish your worth. Their leaving does not define who you are. It is your response to that leaving that reveals who you are becoming. When you learn to bless those who leave, you place yourself in my hands, the one who sees ahead, and always acts with your highest good in mind. I know it is not easy for you to let go. Your heart is warm, and you want to hold on to the things that once brought you joy. But remember, you do not live by memory, you live by hope for what is to come. And I am the one leading you forward. No one leaves without my knowing. No relationship ends outside my will, and no loss fails to carry within it a chance for healing, rebirth, and renewal. You once placed so much meaning in someone's presence, but I want you to know they are not your source. I am the one who anchors your soul. Do not let someone turning away cause you to turn away from yourself. Remember who you are. You are light in this world, a child made in my image, chosen to bring life to others. I did not call you halfway only to abandon you. I called you to the end of the journey where true connections will find you. And stay not out of obligation, but from spiritual unity. If today you are in a season of loneliness after someone's departure, be at peace. I am preparing for you a season of encounter with yourself, with me, and with new people I will place along your path. They will not come to fill a void, but to help you co-create something new. A relationship may have ended, but my plan for you has not wavered. I am still writing your story, and the next chapter will be more beautiful when you are brave enough to close the old one. My beloved, I know you once gave your heart genuinely, kindly, without holding anything back. There were times you helped without hesitation, bore the cost in silence to preserve peace. You stood behind others, lifting them in their weariness, yet in the end, you were the one left behind. I have seen it all. I have counted every act of patience, every look of compassion, every word filled with love. And I want you to remember, not a single good thing you've done will be forgotten in eternity. The love and kindness you have given are seeds of faith sown into fertile ground, the soil of life, the soil of eternity. Perhaps your eyes have not yet seen the tree grow, but the roots are digging deep. Maybe the fruit has yet to appear, but I am nurturing every secret act of goodness you've planted. Do not let your heart doubt just because the season hasn't arrived. Be steadfast, child. What you have done, even the smallest things are preparing to bloom in my timing, not according to human schedules. There have been times when you asked yourself, does kindness make me weak? Is it worth continuing because you've seen others, selfish and indifferent, succeed while you are left weary from loving the wrong people. But I want you to understand this. Kindness is never weakness. It is the quiet strength of souls who choose to love, even without being loved in return. And such souls are where I dwell, the place where my light can shine brightly in a world so full of darkness. You have loved many times without being loved back, given much without receiving. But do you know this? The truth does not lie in others' responses, but in your own intentions. When you love for the sake of love, you are living in alignment with your true nature, the nature shaped in my image. No one can take away what you have done in genuine love, because it does not belong to this world. True love does not require recognition, because it is already the deepest affirmation of your soul that you are living in accordance with the noblest part of yourself, the very essence I placed within you. Sometimes I allow you to remain among those who do not know how to love, not so you may close your heart, but so that you might be a witness to unconditional love. You were not called to react, but to live proactively in love. Even if the world rejects you, the love you offer still holds value because it flows from you, independent of anyone else's response. And do you know this? Many souls are healed by acts of love they can no longer remember who gave. But I remember, and I know it was you. There will be those who never thank you, even some who hurt you in return. But I will not let any of it be in vain. If you bring those wounds to me, I will turn them into fertile soil for new life within you. The love you have given is not lost, it transforms into growth, into trust, into deeper compassion within your own heart. You are becoming good, ground ready for a greater harvest. I am preparing for you. I know there are times when you want to withdraw your care, your kind gaze, because you've been taken advantage of too often. But my child, if you do that, you allow the pain to redefine your identity. And I do not want that for you. I want you to keep loving, not because the other person deserves it, but because you deserve to live in the freedom of love. You cannot stop others from turning away, but you can choose not to close your heart. Each time you choose to love in silence, you walk alongside me, the one who always loves first. Even when rejected, there are people who will never return to say thank you. But that won't stop me from blessing you, because your reward does not lie in human recognition. It lies in the peace of knowing I have lived true to the love that God placed in me, and that peace no one can take it away. Others may forget your name, but I will never forget your heart. And when that day comes, the day you no longer seek validation from anyone, you will find yourself light, free, and full of radiance. One day, when you've passed through these seasons of solitude, you will meet people who see the light you carry, not because you tried to prove it, but because they are ready to receive it. These people won't drain you or make you fight to keep them. They will come as a gift I have prepared, because I see that you are ready. But to reach that day, you must continue sowing without weariness, without doubt, without giving up. For the love you sow today is the harvest you will meet in the future. Be at peace. No act of goodness done in true love is ever wasted, even if there is no response, even if no one notices. Etha, one who sees in secretam, storing each drop of love in the treasury of heaven. And when the time is right, I will cause it all to flourish and bear fruit, even if you've forgotten what you once sowed. Because I am the God who never forgets, and the love you've given is the very place where I am growing grace for you. My dear child, there are things you've done in silence. One saw, no one asked, no one knew. The mornings you rose early to pray for others, though your heart was heavy. The times you helped without expecting gratitude. The nights you laid your head down in exhaustion, not from work, but from holding on to faith through your darkest days. No one spoke a word of thanks. No one applauded your patience. But my child, I saw it all. And nothing done in faithfulness is ever overlooked in my kingdom. I have seen every tear you've wiped away in the dark. Every time you held on to gentleness when you had every right to be angry. The prayers you whispered without words. The kind acts no one recorded. You may wonder, does this make any difference? But my beloved, it is these small things that are adding up like quiet drops of rain soaking the fields of the soul. And the harvest, though not here today, is growing by the hour. In eternity, no faithful seed is ever invisible. At times, you may feel overshadowed by those who shine more brightly, louder voices. Bigger deeds. More dazzling results. But you were not created to impress, you were created to endure, quietly, steadily, and faithfully. I do not compare you to anyone else. I look only at your heart where no one else can see. You may not perform grand acts, but if you do the small things with great love, you are fulfilling your mission in its fullness. I remember when my son once taught the people, when you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you. Matthew says, do you see? I always notice what the world overlooks. While others admire brilliance, I search for light in the hidden room where you kneel with a broken heart, yet still full of trust. These unspoken moments are when I am closest to you. There are acts of faithfulness that will never be rewarded or praised, but that is where your faith becomes the strongest. You don't need to do great things to impress me. All I ask is that you do not give up. Just keep loving, keep believing, keep praying, and together, you and I are building a new harvest. One that isn't just for you, but a blessing for people you've never met, for generations after you, and for souls being saved through your hidden life. You know, many times in life, those I use most powerfully are the ones who remain hidden. No one knows their names, but they are the foundation upon which great things are built. And you, yes, you are part of that foundation. When you stand firm in trials, you are building an invisible bridge for others to cross. When you uphold integrity, unseen, you are keeping the light burning through someone else's night. Faithfulness is not the reward, it is the honor. You once thought that success meant visible results. But in my eyes, success is not the outcome, it is your perseverance. I ask you, will you keep walking even when you can't see the way? Will you stay faithful to goodness even when no one seems worthy? If you do, then you are living the most precious truth of my kingdom. I do not look for perfection, I seek a faithful heart. One day, you will see your seeds bloom. Some of those you once supported may return to thank you. But even if no one comes back, do not be discouraged, because I will return. I will stand before you and say, I saw you. I know everything you did for me, and the reward I give will surpass anything this world could offer. You will see, every faithful step you take today is paving the way for a glorious day that is surely coming. Have you ever felt your joy dim? Simply because others did not appreciate what you gave. You've offered a piece of your heart, extended a hand, spoken a kind word only to be met with silence, indifference, or even betrayal. And deep down, you began to wonder, is kindness still worth it? Am I just wasting love on those who don't know how to value it? I know that feeling well. But my child, do not let the attitudes of others cause you to doubt the goodness I have planted within you. The world may fail to recognize the light you carry, but that does not mean the light is not real. Light is still light, even when hidden, even when unseen. Your kindness is not rooted in how others respond, but in the very nature of the one who created you. You are called to reflect, my love to react to the coldness of others, for if your kindness depends on how people treat you, it won't be long before the world hardens your heart. There are times I allow you to walk among the ungrateful, not to discourage you, but to train your patience, to teach you how to love with endurance. You cannot control the hearts of others, but you can always choose to keep yours free of bitterness. Every time you choose love when it's not returned, you are becoming more like me than ever before, for I have never stopped loving the world even when they rejected, mocked, and crucified my son. Sonu, you are not alone when you are forgotten. I understand, and I am with you, guarding that goodness. Sometimes, people don't know how to value love because they've never been loved properly themselves. Their lack of response doesn't mean your heart is unworthy, it means theirs is not yet healed enough to receive. Do not measure the worth of love by the feedback it gets. True love flows like a spring, never asking, "Who will drink?" but simply knowing that life is being given, and every time you do good without a word of thanks, you allow me to live through you quietly, but powerfully. I have seen the times you were weary because no one understood your heart. I have seen you ask yourself, "Why should I keep trying?" when they don't even care. But my child, if everyone only acted for recognition, love would disappear from the world. And I chose you, yes, you to be the keeper of that light. Not because you are strong, but because you are willing. Not because you are perfect, but because you don't give up. That is more precious than any award, any praise. You may feel alone today in your effort to be kind, but know this: you are leaving an imprint on others' heart 7 if they never say it aloud. A person who has once received your kindness will never forget how it made them feel, even if their lips remain silent. You are sowing seeds that I myself will cause to bloom in the right time, the right place, and the right way. And when that day comes, you may be surprised to see flowers blooming where you once saw only barren ground. Do not let a few acts of ingratitude close the doors of your heart. Do not let a few wounds cause you to doubt the most beautiful thing within you. You may hurt, but you must not lose that goodness, because in that love, gentleness, mercy, that is where I dwell. I reside in the heart that loves without condition, in the soul that continues to forgive, and in every act of kindness that expects nothing in return. And when you preserve these things despite the indifference around you, you are preserving me, my beloved child. In a world that glorifies noise, spotlight, and surface-level achievements, I know you sometimes feel too small, too quiet amidst the clamor. You wonder if what you're doing even matters, those whispered words of encouragement, those silent intercessions for someone else, or the lines you write in hopes of sharing. My love, my child, I see it all, and I want you to know it is precisely those hidden things that I am using in mighty ways. You are my living instrument in this world, not because you shine outwardly, but because you obey. I do not need you to shine as the world expects. I need you to be a candle burning low and steady, not dazzling, but bright enough to help others find their way in the dark. It is your quiet faithfulness and silent surrender where I perform my wonders. I used a staff in Moses' hand to part the sea, 5 loaves and 2 small fish to feed thousands sand today. I use you, with your humble heart and readiness, to plant hope in a hurting world. You may not see results right away. There may be no applause, no recognition for what you're doing. But every word you speak in love, every gentle gesture you offer, every time you lay a hand on someone's shoulder and whisper, "They still have worth," it all reaches souls that I dearly love. One word of encouragement, just one spoken from true love, can rescue a soul that's about to give up. You may not know this, but someone once considered ending their life and then, by chance, they came across something you wrote. Not a grand sermon, not a theological lecture, but a simple line, flowing from your sincere heart. And they stayed. They cried. They prayed. They chose to live. Not because of you, but because of Mabut. I used you as my vessel. My child, you are not as invisible as you think. You are living with a purpose, on a mission, even if no one gives you a title for it. I know that at times, you wish you could do something greater. You hope to see results now, to know that your efforts make an immediate impact. But child, faith does not wait to see before it believes. Faith believes even when it sees nothing. Sometimes, the seeds you plant today will only sprout after many years. But without your obedience today, there can be no harvest in the future. So do not let your heart grow discouraged. What you are doing, though, the world may call it small, I see. I remember, and I am using in ways far wiser than you can imagine. To be my instrument does not mean you will always feel strong. There will be days you are tired, days you feel like quitting, times you doubt your worth, your gifts, your influence. But I do not need you to be perfect, I need you to keep going. You do not need to be sure of everything, only sure of this: I am with you. You take one step, I'll take the rest. You plant one seed, I'll water it and make it bloom at the right time. Do not be deceived by silence. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean change isn't happening. Seeds hidden in the soil also need time to die before they rise again. I am working, building, and transforming right in the midst of your quiet faithfulness. What you do in secret, I will reward openly, not in the way the world rewards, but in a way that fills your soul with joy. I know you're not seeking the spotlight. You just want to live a life that matters. To live by my teachings, to love as I love, to offer yourself to goodness. That brings me great delight. Never underestimate the small things you do with great love. Never think that because no one knows your name, I'm not using you. In fact, it is in the shadows that your light shines brightest. It is in the overlooked corners of life that you bring hope to forgotten hearts. My child, you do not need to stand out. You only need to keep obeying, loving, and quietly offering yourself. For true glory is not found in you being lifted. It is found in me being lifted high through your life. Keep doing good. Keep choosing what is right. Keep loving when no one loves you back. Keep praying when no one sees, because these very things are shaking the heavens. The angels are watching and rejoicing. I am pleased with your quiet obedience. Guard your heart. Do not let your invisibility before others cause you to doubt that I see you. Do not let the stillness of now make you think you have no impact. The quieter it is, the more enduring the strength, the simpler it is, the purer the love. Keep walking even if no one knows your name, because in heaven, your name is written on my heart. And if there comes a time when you feel like stopping, when you feel you have nothing left to give, return to that secret place between you and me. Let me remind you that you are not alone. You are not working by yourself. I am walking with you every step of the way, and nothing you offer me, no matter how small the prayer, how simple the kindness, will ever be forgotten. So, my child, you don't need to do something grand to be called a faithful servant. You only need to be faithful in the small things each day. Each task, each word, each breath. In doing so, you are living out exactly what I created you to be: light in darkness, salt in the world, and love in the midst of indifference. I love you. I see you, and I am using you not someday, but today. There are pains too deep for words, wounds that do not bleed, yet throb quietly through the years. Nights when you lie still, unable to cry, unsure what to say, only an aching hollow in your chest, as though something inside you has shattered in silence. You don't dare complain, nor do you know how to pray. But my child, I understand. I am still listening even when you have no words. Even a sigh carries meaning to me. Don't think your prayer must be polished to reach me. Don't believe you need eloquence or ritual before I act. I am not waiting for you to be strong or to recite every verse of Scripture. All I ask is that you turn your heart toward Maeve. Even a flicker of hope remains. I will come. I see every movement of your soul. I understand each downward glance, every clenched fist trying to endure. I am no stranger to tears, to silence, to quiet sorrow. I too have walked through all of it. Do you remember the woman who bled for 12 years? She didn't cry out, didn't dare step forward to ask for healing. She simply came from behind and touched the hem of my son's garment. A touch no one saw, no one heard. But I saw, I heard, and in that very moment, power flowed from my son to heal her completely. No words, no ceremony, just a small faith and a desperate heart daring to hope once more. Beloved, you often think you must be okay in order to pray, but the most beautiful prayers often rise from broken hearts. A weary heart whispering, Lord, in the stillness of the night can shake heaven more than 1,000 songs of praise. Because I am not moved by polish, I am moved by truth. I do not seek perfection, I seek sincerity. And there is nothing more sincere than a shattered soul still reaching for me. I see how you've tried to keep walking without healing. I see the way you smile while your heart is breaking. You keep going because you think that if you stop, no one will understand. No one will wait. But my child, I am waiting, not to scold, but to embrace, not to tell you not to be sad, but to remind you that I am bearing this sadness with you. You are not alone. My presence is not dependent on your holiness. It is rooted in love, and I do not change. Every sigh you release does not vanish into the void. I hear it as a prayer. And when you don't know how to pray, my spirit intercedes for you with groanings too deep for words. You don't need to understand everything. Just believe that I am still working in silence. In every detail. There are times you think I am silent. But in truth, I am preparing something greater than what you asked. Some healings begin with patience, the quiet companionship I offer you, day by day. And one day, you will look back and realize those silent moments, your tears, your sighs, your exhaustion became the most powerful prayers of your life. Not because you spoke perfectly, but because you did not give up. Not because you had great faith, but because you were brave enough to come back to me again. In your weakest moments, you were closest to me, for I am never far from the brokenhearted. I am right beside you, holding your heart when it can no longer hold itself. You may have asked many times, why did this happen to me? Why did you allow me to endure this? I hear those questions not just with my ears, but with my heart. You don't realize that in your most shattered days, I was quietly at work, building something new within you. Every pain you have carried, every tear you've cried, none of it is wasted. All of it is being used to shape your soul for a purpose far greater than you imagine. I do not rejoice in your pain, but I can use that very pain to heal others. Each time you rise from a wounded place, you not only grow stronger, you become a vessel I can use. I do not create suffering, but I turn suffering into fertile soil where blessings can grow. You are being refined not to become hard, but to become deep, What you go through does not define you, but the way you move through it reveals the purpose I've written into you from the beginning. Do you remember how Joseph was sold into slavery by his own brothers, falsely accused, imprisoned? Each moment seemed like cruel injustice. Yet in the end, it was Joseph whom I used to save an entire nation from famine. And when he saw those who had wronged him, he did not accuse them. He said, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." Do you see? No pain is ever wasted in my hands. Even betrayal and prison can shape a life for glory. You cannot always see the meaning while still in the middle of the journey, but trust that no detail is wasted in my plan. Every heartbreak, every lost relationship, every stumble and rise, I am weaving it all together into a greater whole. Not everything that happens is my will, but I am making all things work together for your good because you love me and are called according to my purpose. It's hard to believe that while you're hurting, but it is a truth that will save your heart. You may feel like you've wasted too much time, gone too far in the wrong direction, loved the wrong people, chosen the wrong path. But with me, nothing is beyond redemption. I don't rewrite your story by erasing the past, I continue it. I use the very pages that were crumpled to write a better chapter. You haven't strayed from my plan, you're simply taking the long way, learning what you need before reaching where I want you to be. Nothing in your life is wasted, not even what seems most meaningless. Every experience you've had is shaping you into someone deeper, stronger, more compassionate. Not just so you can live for yourself, but so you can become a source of life to others. When you've known pain, you'll know how to comfort. When you've fallen, you'll know how to lift. And I will use you with your healed wounds to bring resurrection to other souls still waiting to be touched. You were never meant just to survive, but to be a light in someone else's night. Look back on all that's passed not with regret, but with gratitude, because through those very things, you have become who you are today, more patient, more grounded, more real. I am shaping you like a potter shapes clay so that you may take the form that fits your eternal purpose. And I will not stop until you become all I originally designed you to be. Everything you've been through, whether joy or sorrow, is contributing to my plan to restore, use, and bless you in ways uniquely your own, my beloved child. If you've listened this far, then I know your heart is yearning for something greater than pain, greater than the past, greater than yourself. And I want you to know this. It is no coincidence that you are hearing these words. It is a tender, intentional guidance from me. From the very beginning, you have always been part of my gracious plan for you. Not a single step you've taken is meaningless. Not a single tear has fallen without my knowing. You may have been hurt by indifference, may have felt invisible in the eyes of others. But to me, you have never been abandoned, only redirected. You have never been underestimated, you are being refined. You have never lost your worth, you are being shaped. Every dry season you endure is merely fertile ground for a blooming season ahead, woven meticulously into the greater tapestry I am crafting for your life. And my dear one, if today your heart is still filled with doubt, still fragile, still grappling with questions unanswered, do not be afraid. I do not ask you to be strong in order to come near to me, I only ask that you be honest. Come to me with your weariness, with the questions that still ache within you. I will not rush you. I cradle you, wait patiently, and love you to the very end. For I do not define your future by your past. I look at your heart in there. I see something beautiful still alive, still waiting for the day of restoration. My precious child, what matters most is not that you've never fallen, but that you continue to rise. Slowly. Perhaps with trembling feet. Perhaps, but still you walk. And each step you take becomes a hymn of praise echoing through the heavens. Because I see you, I cherish you, and I choose you not because you are flawless, but because my love for you is complete. As you step away from this letter, I do not want you to carry heaviness, but a new hope. Keep walking not alone, but with me. Keep living not to prove anything, but to uncover all the goodness I still hold in readiness for you. Keep loving, keep trusting, and keep sowing seeds. For the field of your life is far from over, it is only just stepping into harvest. Your Almighty One, the one who writes to you daily and waits for you to listen, heart and soul. Thank you for listening to this message. Know this, you are not just an audience, you are chosen to live daily in the presence of God's Word. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you won't miss any sacred message. Amen.